right. Then the point x1 star comma x2 star corresponds to dash value of f.
Maximum value of f.
Yes, we got maximum
Relative
value.
maximum.
Relative maximum. Very good, Amma. Thank you. Relative maximum. I'll write it here. This is the thing. So everyone, please take that values, and if any doubts, you can ask me now. So that f star which you got 16 pi is a relative maximum value or relative minimum value?
Relative maximum.
Relative maximum.
Maximum. If it is done up to this point, then I can change the slide. I want answers from you. If you copied, it's okay. Others, those who are copying it, please let me know so that I can go with the next slide. Yeah, okay. Hoping that everyone is doing it and writing it. It's a mathematical oriented you need to do. Unless you do that, you can never understand what is going on. That is for sure. Yeah. Next slide, we'll find the effect of f change. You read the question once, please. The effect on f star of changes in the value of b can be analyzed with the help of lambda star. That is called interpretation of Lagrange multiplier. What is the first part in the question given there? What is the first part in the question given there, please? Find the effect on f star when the value of a naught is changed to 25 pi. Initially, how much it was there?
24 pi.
So now, what is the value if it is changed to 25 pi? What is the minimum value, maximum value that you need to find? We'll check it out now. Yeah. So the original constraint is relaxed. Why is it relaxed? It is called because it was initially 24 pi. Now you have increased it to 25 pi. So it is called relaxed. By how many units? 24 pi to 25 pi. How many units are there in it? And what's the difference between that?
One pi.
1 pi. That is why I wrote pi units. Can you see that? So dB is taken as how much? Pi. df star equal to lambda star into dB. Can you please tell me what is lambda star value? Which we got in the question?
For which, sir? For 24 pi?
24 pi. Yes, we need to use the lambda star for 24 pi to evaluate for 25 pi. Minus 1.
Minus 1.
So put a bracket and write minus 1. Done. dB value? Pi.
Pi.
Yeah. Now tell me what is new value of f star? F star, how much did you get? The maximum value in the last slide?
16 pi.
16 pi.
Minus pi.
Yeah, I'm writing it. 16 pi minus pi equal to 15 pi. Understood this value? Yeah, is it okay?
Yeah, it is okay, sir. But on taking a naught equal to 25 pi, I got some x1, x2 and lambda values, and with f star as 3.39 pi.
Lambda, which did you get? 3.39 pi?
For 25 pi.
3.39 pi. We'll check once.
Okay, sir. I have to recheck.
Once you check, I'll also check and let you know. Okay, not a problem. Yeah. Now the original constraint is tightened. Tightened by how much? 2 pi. You can see the second question there. What is the second bit in this?
Sir, 22 pi.
Means actually it should be 24 pi, but you have made it the second bit to 22 pi. Now come back to this and check what is the value of that. Lambda star value is, because it is decreased, will denote with
By
minus
2
2 pi.
units.
Correct?
Yes, sir.
Lambda star value, how much did you get? Minus 1, kada?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Minus 1 into minus
Minus
2
2
pi.
pi.
Minus 2 pi.
Add it and you get the new value of it.
18 pi.
18 pi. I'll write it for it. Yeah, answer is 18 pi. This is what the physical interpretation of Lagrange multiplier. I guess everyone understood the procedure. You can do n number of problems. This is the procedure that you need to follow if they ask you. So I'll just repeat it for 2 minutes because that would be a good for you to solve a number of problems. First thing, you frame functional. If they give directly objective function, take that objective function. If they don't give the objective function, please frame by reading the question given in it. And based on it, you can also frame constraint. If they give directly, take the constraint directly. If they don't give, you need to be able to write your constraint. Then you frame Lagrange function. It should be in terms of what? A functional value, objective function plus lambda 1 times constraint equation. If there are two constraints, lambda 1 into constraint equation plus lambda 2 into another constraint equation, like this, so on. Now differentiate the Lagrange function with respect to the first variable x1, equate it to 0. Now again differentiate the Lagrange function with respect to x2 and equate it to 0. Now the third is differentiate with the lambda 1, then equate it to 0. You have three equations. Solve all these three systematically, very important, systematically, to get the values of x1, x2, lambda 1, and calculate f also at that point. You get all these three, but till now we don't know whether f is a minimum value or a maximum. For that, you need to find determinant equation. Based upon the alpha value, if it is negative, you say that it is a maximum value. Once you get that maximum value, then if they ask you to change, this constant of your constraint equation has been changed or increased by some value or decreased by value, then you follow this procedure. I guess everyone understood this thing. Is it okay, please? Yeah, I'm moving to the next thing. Can you solve for this? I don't want to waste my time because this was the question I was giving you from direct substitution I gave, by Lagrange multiplier I gave. Now I gave with the constraint by changing the value of the constant from 3 to 4 or 3 to 2. So take this question. Please try it out, this question. This is the same question. Please take and try. If you have a doubt, you can ask me, please. Find the optimum point for the function. I'll read it. F of x1 comma x2 comma x3 is equal to 9 minus 8x1 minus 6x2 minus 4x3 plus 2x1 square plus 2x2 square plus x3 square plus 2x1x2 plus 2x1 x3 subjected to one constraint x1 plus x2 plus 2x3 equal to 3 by Lagrange multiplier method, and find the effect on f of changing the constraint to 4 and to 2. What is the order of the matrix for this question? Can anyone tell me? 3 by 3, 2 by 2, 4 by 4, 5 by 5.
Four by
4 by 4.
four.
Mama, thank you. It is 4 by 4, please. It is 4 by 4. Okay, you can try. Please learn how to calculate the determinants of 4 by 4, 5 by 5 easily, which might help you not only in my subject, in the upcoming subject semester also. One subject is there where you need to solve 5 by 5 matrix. Yeah, I'm moving with the next topic, please. Is it okay? Can I change the slide? Kuhn-Tucker condition. Put a heading. Kuhn-Tucker condition. I want everyone to put very important topic, Kuhn-Tucker condition. Shortly it is called KT condition. Yeah. Now you please tell me what is the thing, what we have learned from your first unit. I'll tell you now. We have seen problems on the without a constraint equation, first thing. Next we have seen with constraint, that is with equality constraint, we have solved. Now with 2-3 equality constraints, we know how to solve. Now if it is inequality plus equality plus some other thing, then how to do? That is all said in this topic, Kuhn-Tucker condition, called as shortly KT conditions. Now you see the first statement. There is no single algorithm to take care of all the constraints such as equality, inequality constraint to solve the objective function f of x. Objective function can be minimization of f of x or maximization of f of x. Clear with this? So all the optimization problems stated must satisfy certain necessary conditions for them to have a optimum value at a particular stationary point, and these are called as Kuhn-Tucker conditions or Karosh-Kuhn-Tucker conditions. It is called KT or KKT. Anything is same because they were two scientists. They are called first as KT, other time it is called as KKT. So in this, we will be taking the conditions or the constraints which involve equality and also inequality and one objective function, which can be minimization of the function or the maximization of the function. So please take the statements. Once you just take it, then I can move further. Now 65, can you please switch off your video? Yeah, please take it. Please mute yourself. So the important point is that this KT conditions are a necessary conditions or a sufficient conditions. Please tell me that point. Yes, please. These KT conditions are called a necessary conditions or a sufficient conditions.
Necessary.
Very important here. I wrote very important. Underline it and write. So all the constraints, whatever the optimization problem it is there, it should definitely satisfy these conditions. What are these conditions? Kuhn-Tucker conditions. Any problem you take, it should satisfy this. So this is the most important. This is the last topic in your first unit also.
Sir, once you briefly tell me about once again about Kuhn-Tucker condition.
I'll tell you. In Kuhn-Tucker conditions, we'll take one function which we have dealt already. That is called an objective function. That can be minimization of a function or maximization of a function. But the point is that we have not even solved a problem which involved inequality constraint in it. Now, in this Kuhn-Tucker conditions, we'll take inequality constraints and also equality constraints and one minimization, one maximization. So it is a sum up of all the concepts which we have gone through in the last topics. And that should definitely, any problem you take, that should definitely satisfy these conditions. And that are called KT conditions. Now, fine. Is it okay?
Yes, sir, okay.
Fine. Yeah. If it is done with taking this slide, I'll move to the next slide. Yeah, from the others, except Rashmit Reddy can tell. Can I move to the next point, please? Other than Rashmit, can anyone answer and tell me so that I'll move to the next slide if you have done with taking this slide, please?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Now, concentrate very carefully here. Let us consider minimization of function. I've started with what? Minimization of f of x. Subjected to constraint. Which constraint I have took? One, equality or inequality?
Inequality.
Less than 0 or greater than 0?
Less than 0.
Surely. So greater than or equal to 0 is also an equality constraint. I guess you can accept it. No need to tell about it. Yeah. For j value varied from, always constraint equations are denoted with gj of x, where j is the variable and j is varied from 1, 2, 3, so on up to m. Now, this is the condition that you need to know. See now, dou f, or they say sometimes z also, dou f by dou xi. In some textbooks, they denote it as z, but I want to follow in the same convention. Dou f by dou xi plus summation j equal to 1 to n lambda j dou gj by dou xi equal to 0. This you know from Lagrange multiplier. It is the same thing, correct? So up to this you take, I'll tell you one more. This is the first condition. Mark it as 1. Can you please tell me I value is varied from 1 to n, and you know similarly j is varied from 1 to m. Please take up to this. Then I'll introduce 3 more conditions. Totally, you will have 4 conditions for a given problem. This is condition 1, first condition. Yeah. So I'm moving with the further, assuming you have taken this for first slide, please. Second condition is lambda j gj should be equal to 0. Lambda suffix j into g suffix j should be equated to 0. You got now 2 conditions. From these 2, you need to solve and check the values of g, j and lambda j. And check the values of g suffix j and lambda suffix j. if Gj value is showing less than 0 and lambda j value if you find and if it shows greater than 0, then you say that the function is minimized. So what is it? We'll take the previous slide equation and this second equation. We'll try to solve that too and check the values of this, whether Gj value is negative or equal to 0 or not. And lambda j should be greater than or equal to 0. If both the conditions are satisfied, then only the given function is minimization function. Otherwise, it is not. Now you see how many m's are there. Lambda j, so j is varied from 1 to m, gj, m, and variables will be n plus m. That we have seen in Lagrange multiplier also. I is varied up to n and j is varied up to m. So n plus m variables, total conditions are n plus 3m. Yeah, if it is done, I'll take a problem and explain you very clearly. Just concentrate. Yeah. Hoping that you have taken this slide, I'm moving to the next. Yeah, there are other conditions also to minimize. This is the first condition which we have seen in the statement. I'll come back to the statement. See, minimization of f of x subjected to gj of x less than or equal to 0 and lambda j greater than 0. That is the first condition which I have written. Now, function also can be minimized. If gj of x if you get greater than 0, lambda j if you get less than 0. Now, function can be maximized if gj of x is less than 0, lambda j is less than 0. And it can also be maximized when both are greater than 0. So maximization, you'll have two conditions. Minimization, you'll have two conditions. Based upon your values of gj and lambda j, you decide whether the function is minimization function or maximization function. Yeah. From the girl side, did you take this slide? I'll be asking you questions now. If this is done, I'll go with the next point, please. Ma, can anyone respond from the girl side that they have taken it, or should I wait? Should I go with the next? Please quickly.
Continue, sir.
Thank you so much for your answer. Yeah. Now you tell me, this is the question. Maximize f of x. Now you please tell me, if a question is only given maximize f of x, what are the two possibilities that can occur to show the function is maximized?
gj of x is less than 0, lambda j is
or lambda j which can be less than 0, or gj of x can be greater than 0, lambda j can be greater than 0. These two we should check. How do you check? What is the procedure? Everything I'll let you know. Yeah. Minus x1 square minus x2 square plus 4x1 plus 4x2 minus 8. Did you take that question completely?
No, sir.
To take that. Subject to constraint. Which constraints are they? Equality, inequality.
Inequality.
Inequality constraints I gave, because we have ever solved a problem on inequality constraints till now. From the equations, inequality constraint, it is less than 0 or greater than 0 is the condition, please. Can anyone tell me from that? G, J of X, from the question, constraints are 2. Can you please tell me whether it is an less than 0 condition or greater than 0 condition? Okay, we'll see it at the last point. If you don't answer, not a problem. Yeah. This condition, you know, dou f by dou xi plus summation j equal to 1 to m lambda j dou gj by dou xi equal to 0, where I is varied from 1 to so on up to n. Yeah. From this, how many equations you will get? Please tell me. From this, how many equations you will get? 1, 2 cannot
Two.
be known.
2 equations.
Why? Because there are 2 variables
2
in the question.
variables.
Please write the 2 equations below this. So that I'll tell you, you can write dou f by dou x1 plus j1 you substitute. It becomes lambda 1 dou g1 by dou x1 equal to 0. First equation. I'll put I equal to 2. Dou f by dou x2 plus, how many I'll get? Lambda j, if you want to take dou j by dou x2. So I want to put I equal to 1 and 2. Don't change the j value. Put that j as summation only. So can you please tell me the equation now? Dou f by dou x1 plus summation j equal to 1 to m. M value is how much? 2 or 3?
2.
So dou f by dou x1 plus summation j equal to 1 to 2 lambda j dou gj by dou x1 equal to 0. First equation, equation 1. Second equation will be dou f by dou x2 plus summation j equal to 1 to 2 lambda j dou gj by dou x2 equal to 0. Did you get my point? I am substituting I equal to 1 once and again I equal to 2. Ante, ఇంకేం చేయట్లేదు. M place లో I'm putting 2. Wherever M is there in the summation, I'm taking it as 2. It is okay for everyone.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Now lambda j gj equal to 0. Correct? This is the second condition that I need to check. Now, how many j values will I have here? J value will be varied from
1 to 2.
How many equations from I get from this condition? 2 or 22?
2.
2. Very good. Write the 2 equations. One is lambda 1 g1 equal to 0 and another is lambda 2 g2 is equal to 0. అర్థమైంది అక్కడ వరకు?
Sir.
Everyone understood that, please?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Now you need to check for the validity. Means what? Gj is less than 0. Why I am taking gj value is less than 0? Question లోనే ఇచ్చాడు నాన్న. ఏమి ఇచ్చాడు gj? Less than 4, less than 5 kada. So according to that condition, I am taking gj function as less than 0 for j equal to 1 comma 2. If gj should be less than 0, what about the lambda j in order to have minimization function?
Less than 0.
Less than or equal to 0 for j value 1 comma 2. Correct?
Yes.
So when I write g1 of capital X, can I bring that 4 to the left hand side? And for g2 also, can I bring that 5 to the left hand side?
Yes.
Yes, please, correct?
Yes, sir.
Write f of x also. What is f of x? Write that function as it is, whatever it is given in the question. Minus x1 square minus x2 square plus 4x1 plus 4x2 minus 8. Yeah, if you have taken up to that, I'll tell you. What is that?
Sir, actually, what these two conditions mean, lambda 1 g1 equal to 0, lambda 2 g2 equal to 0. That means simply both are zeros, no? I mean,
Yeah, I'll tell you. What is that? Once I explain you the problem, I'll get back to your question, surely.
okay, sir.
Right. Yeah, f of x, did you write this?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Now coming back to this, then next thing. Now to go to the first question. Yeah, write this first equation. Put I equal to 1 in it. What is happening here? Dou f by dou x1 plus j value, you put summation j equal to 1 to 2 lambda 1 dou g1 by dou x1, you write equal to 0. Can I find dou f by dou x1, please?
Yes.
First substitute I equal to 1 in it as it is, not do anything. I equal to 1 petti m lo 2, substitute m as 2. Now tell me what is dou f by dou x1? Yeah,
Minus 2x1 plus 4.
correct. Minus 2x1 plus 4. అది అయిపోయింది అక్కడ వరకు. Correct?
Hmm.
Plus lambda 1, you write summation only.
Dou g1.
Summation j equal to 1 to 2 lambda j. What is dou g by dou xi? J value will expand it, will expand the summation, that would be better. So what happens now? Put j equal to 1 plus j equal to 2 also. So what happens when you put an expansion for it?
Lambda 1 dou g1 by dou x1
Plus lambda 2 dou g2 by
2
dou
dou
x2.
g2 by dou x2.
Now you know dou g1 by dou x1. Can I find dou g1 by dou x1?
Yes.
How
1.
much? You know g1 of x. Can I find dou g1 by dou x1? How much is it?
1.
1. Done. Now that into lambda 1. Correct?
Yes.
Now what is the next term that you get?
Lambda 2
2
dou g2
into
by dou x2.
dou g2 by dou x2. Can I put that?
1.
Oh, x15 or something.
Dou x1. Correct, amma. Dou x1. Oh, what is the answer for it?
2 lambda.
Finally, you will get some answer. Tell me that answer. I'll write it here, please. Simplify చేస్తే ఏమొచ్చిందమ్మా ఆన్సర్ చెప్తారా? Yeah.
Minus 2x1 plus 4
Minus 2x1
plus 4
plus 4
plus
Next.
lambda 1 plus 2 lambda 2
plus lambda 1. I guess lambda 1 I'm writing it as v1. You can write it lambda 1. Plus lambda 1
plus 2 lambda 2.
plus 2 lambda 2 is equal to 0. Correct?
Yes.
This is one equation. Mark equation 1 in your book, please. Did you mark that?
Yes.
Now, what is the second thing that you need to do for this equation again?
Take I as 2.
Take I as 2. Super. Start solving for taking I as 2. Now that will become what? Dou
Minus
f
2x2
by
plus
dou x2 plus again summation expansion lambda 1 dou g1 by dou x2
dou x1.
plus dou x2.
Yes, sir. Dou xi it is fine, sir.
Yeah. Dou f by dou x2 plus lambda 1 dou g1 by dou x2 plus lambda 2 dou g1 by dou x2 is equal to 0. Correct for I equal to 2?
Yes, sir.
Now please solve in the same way and tell me the second equation for it.
Minus 2x2 plus 4.
I'm writing here only. 1 second, please. Give me some. Yeah. Tell me, Nana. Minus
2x2
2x2
x2 plus 4
plus 2
plus 4
plus 4
plus lambda 1 plus lambda 2 equal to 0.
Remove that plus 2.
plus 2 won't be there. Okay.
No,
Right.
sir,
Some of
it's a
such-
plus 4.
Only plus 4, right?
Yes, sir.
This is equation 2. Mark this as equation 2. Mark this as equation 2.
Done.
How many unknowns are there in this equation? Can you anyone tell me?
4.
4 unknowns. You need to find 2 unknowns in it. They are lambda 1 and lambda 2. Right in the next step. Solving equation 1 and equation 2, we need to find lambda 1 and lambda 2 in terms of x1 and x2. I'll tell you again. Solving equations 1 and 2, we need to find lambda 1 and lambda 2 in terms of x1 and x2. Can anyone solve it and tell me so that we can stop for today's class? Please post your attendance in the chat box now. Yeah. Can anyone
Lambda
solve
to
me and tell
0.
me? Yeah?
Lambda to 0.
0 you won't
No,
get, I guess.
no, sir, not 0. It is,
You'll get
it
one
is
terms. Please
2
try.
into x1 minus x2.
I'll write it here, please. 1 second. Yeah, I'm writing here, please. Lambda 1 equal to v1. I'm writing. V1 equal to. Tell me that.
No, sir, it is v2. I found v2 first.
Okay, that's not a problem. I'll write it v2 now. No problem. Yeah, v2 equal to
2 into x1 minus x2
2 into x1
minus
minus x2.
x2. 2
Minus
whole
x2.
2 into x1 minus x2 whole bracket.
So bracket, I need to start from here.
Yes.
That's it.
And lambda 1 is
Lambda 1. You should get some more terms. I guess,
4x2. 4x2.
You should get some more terms. Once check, Rashmit, you should get a constant term also, I guess. Once try
No,
to do
sir,
that.
both are minus 4 and minus 4. No, sir.
Same.
For lambda 2. For lambda 1, we will get a constant.
We'll get a constant. Okay.
Yes.
You tell me. I'll check it out with others. There we go.
Yeah.
Yeah. V1
Lambda
equal
1
to
is 4x2
4x2
minus 2x1 minus 4
2x1
minus 4.
That's it.
Yes.
Okay, we'll check with the others. Up to this, any doubts, please? I'll discuss the next thing in the next class. Up to this, if you have any doubts, you can ask me. Then I'll go with the next class. Yeah. If anyone gets V1, V2, you can tell me that values also, please. I'll just write it. If they are right, that's okay then. We'll continue this Tucker conditions in the next class also. Yeah. Tell me the values of V1 and V2. If they are right, it's okay. Anyone can tell me other than Rashmit whether they are right or anything change. Is it okay, Ma?
Yes, sir.
And then okay, then thank you. Yeah, we'll discuss it in the next class. Thank you. Everyone posted their attendance, right?